Welcome to Short Bites of History. 5 Post-American Revolution Challenges. In 1786, just 3 years after the Revolution, America faced its first major uprising, Shays Rebellion. Farmers in western Massachusetts, crushed by heavy taxes and debt, revolted. Many, like Daniel Shays, a Revolutionary War veteran, had been paid in worthless paper money while courts seized their farms for unpaid debts. Furious, Shays led 4,000 rebels to arm themselves, shutting down courts to halt foreclosures. In 1787, they marched on a federal armory in Springfield, aiming to seize weapons. The state militia crushed the rebellion, scattering the farmers. Shays fled to Vermont, but the uprising exposed the young nation's fragility. It revealed the weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation, unable to fund a strong defense or unify the states. Shays' rebellion shocked leaders like George Washington, pushing them toward a stronger constitution. Would you join a rebellion to save your farm? Share below. Next, the Articles of Confederation falter.
The Articles of Confederation, America's first governing document, took effect in 1781 but quickly faltered. Designed to give states power, it created a weak central government with no authority to tax or regulate trade. By 1783, the U.S. faced massive war debts, but Congress couldn't collect funds. States refused to pay. Trade disputes erupted as states imposed their own tariffs, crippling commerce. In 1786, Shays' Rebellion highlighted the government's inability to maintain order. Congress couldn't raise an army without state approval. Foreign threats loomed too. Britain and Spain encroached on American borders, knowing the nation couldn't respond. Frustrated leaders like Alexander Hamilton called for reform, arguing for a stronger federal system. In 1787, delegates met in Philadelphia, scrapping the Articles for a new constitution, ratified in 1789. The Articles' failure taught a hard lesson. Unity required power. Could you imagine a country with no taxes or army? Share below. Next, the Whiskey Rebellion ignites.
In 1791, Western Pennsylvania farmers sparked the Whiskey Rebellion, challenging the new U.S. government. To pay off war debts, Alexander Hamilton pushed a whiskey tax, hitting frontier farmers hard. They distilled grain into whiskey for trade. Feeling unfairly targeted, they refused to pay tarring and feathering tax collectors. By 1794, 7,000 rebels rallied, burning a tax official's home and threatening to march on Pittsburgh. President George Washington, determined to assert federal authority, led 13,000 militia troops, the largest force since the Revolution, to crush the uprising. Most rebels fled before a battle, and Washington pardoned the leaders, showing mercy but proving the government's strength. The Whiskey Rebellion tested the Constitution's power, revealing tensions between rural citizens and federal control. It also set a precedent. The U.S. would enforce its laws even at gunpoint. Would you defy a tax that threatened your livelihood? Share below. Next, Native American resistance grows.
After the Revolution, Native American tribes faced betrayal as the U.S. expanded west in the 1780s and 1790s. The 1783 Treaty of Paris, ending the war, ignored Native rights, ceding their lands to America. Tribes like the Shawnee and Miami, who had allied with the British, resisted encroachment. The U.S. signed treaties, like the 1785 Treaty of Fort McIntosh, forcing tribes onto smaller lands. But settlers ignored these boundaries, sparking violence. In 1790, the Western Confederacy, led by Miami Chief Little Turtle, defeated U.S. forces in 2 major battles, killing over 800 soldiers. The U.S. responded with a larger army under Anthony Wayne, who won at Fallen Timbers in 1794, forcing the 1795 Treaty of Greenville. Tribes ceded vast Ohio lands, paving the way for white settlement. These broken promises fueled decades of conflict. As Native nations fought to protect their way of life, would you fight for your homeland against impossible odds? Share below. Next, political divides threaten unity.
By 1789, America's unity cracked as political divides emerged between Federalists and Anti-Federalists. Federalists, like Alexander Hamilton, wanted a strong central government to stabilize the nation, pushing for a national bank and trade policies favoring merchants. Anti-Federalists, led by Thomas Jefferson, feared tyranny, advocating for states' rights and rural interests. Tensions boiled during the 1790s as Hamilton's financial plans, like the whiskey tax, angered farmers, while Jefferson's vision clashed with urban elites. The 1793 Citizen Genet affair, where a French diplomat meddled in U.S. politics, deepened the rift. Federalists leaned pro-British, anti-Federalists pro-French. By 1800, the divide birthed the first political parties, Federalists and Democratic Republicans, setting a bitter tone for future elections. The struggle shaped America's government, balancing power between federal authority and individual freedoms, but it also sowed distrust among the founders. How do these same divides affect current politics? Share below.
Thanks for watching 5 post-American Revolution challenges on Short Bites of History. We make history fun by serving it in small bites on YouTube Shorts. Videos are created with the help of AI using VidAI. A link to VidAI will be pinned in the comment section. The video popping up now is something YouTube thinks you will like. You know what to do: like, comment, share, and subscribe.